Hi. All right. So thank you everybody for joining us on your Thursday night. We appreciate your time. My name is Brian Kenzel, and I work for Empire Merchants North. That's the distributor who represents Moet Hennessy and the VOLCAN Tequila portfolio. Um, Melissa is the host of this meeting, but she'll be the one walking you through some of the history and starting out with the first of three marks of VOLCAN Tequila, the Blanco, then we have the Cristalino and the Reposado. So Melissa, I'll turn it over to you, and you can get us going with a little bit of the history and then walk us into their first drink.
Awesome. Thank you, Brian. Thank
Of
you.
course.
So, Volcan de mi tierra, which means volcano of my land. And we'll talk about the volcano in a moment. So, this was a passion project. It was started by a family in Mexico. They're called the Gallardo family. And it was a joint venture between them and Moet Hennessy. And at the time, LVMH, which is Louis Vuitton Moet Hennessy, they didn't have a tequila in their portfolio. And the family, they were actually predominant in Mexico in the sugar industry. And they wanted to segue into the tequila industry. So this was really a perfect combination. It was a match made in heaven. The two parties got what they wanted, and it was perfect timing. So one of my favorite things about VOLCAN tequila is that the initial recipe was created by a woman master distiller. Her name is Ana Maria Romero Mena. So she was quite unconventional. They say she broke all the rules when it came to making tequila. And that's because she experimented with blending agaves from different regions. In fact, the Blanco is a blend of highland and lowland tequila, and we'll get into the region in a bit. He also experimented with fermentation and the distillation process, so a total maverick in the game. So she's really cool to me. The region itself, that little green area is Jalisco, and this is the tequila producing region in Mexico. Now, VOLCAN Distillery sits on the base of an actual volcano. When this volcano erupted roughly 200,000 years ago, the ash and the sediment created this really fertile soil that was perfect for growing agave. And the volcano actually shaped the area into lowland and highland. Now, the lowland region is known for agave that is very herbaceous, more vegetal, and the highland, their agave is more subtle, more sweet, more fruit on it. So it's a perfect combination because this one is 75% highlands and 25% lowlands. So you get a lot of different combination of flavors, especially when you smell it, when you taste it. Agave itself, if you know anything about it, it's a very heavy succulent. It's grown in the desert, and this picture is actually taken in the VOLCAN distillery. So at the base of the volcano, as you see, they're working to crush the agave. They use a very traditional process at VOLCAN called Tahona milling, and that's when they use it's this big volcanic stone, and it's used to crush the agave itself and separate the fiber and the juice. So again, a very arduous task, and we learned that tequila takes a relentless amount of energy and also a lot of patience. So again, it's a product that is unique and very admirable in my opinion. So let's talk about the bottle. The bottle itself, here you have the sun rays, you have the Vulcan, which is for the volcano, and then at the base of the bottle, if you can see, it's called the punt of the bottle, where you put your thumb in it. That mound right there is the actual topography of the volcano. So it's very, very, very innovative and very unique. And then you have a label here that has something called NOM, N-O-M. That is a number that's assigned to really establish the standards of quality of the tequila. VOLCAN's NOM is 1523. And at their distillery, only VOLCAN tequila is produced. It is very common for distilleries in Mexico that produce tequila to produce many brands at one distillery. So something very cool about VOLCAN is that they only produce their own tequila at the distillery. So here I have it, the VOLCAN Blanco. I've been sitting here a bit, so it allows like the flavors and the aromas to actually evolve. When you hold it up to your nose, I get a lot of citrus. I get some pepper, also some lemongrass. You're gonna get that very clean look. It's not aged. They do allow it to sit. They started right after distillation, but they allow it to sit in stainless steel, and I think up to 60 days, and they do also sometimes age it in wood for up to 30 days. So it's always going to have that very clean, clear look. And the fun thing about Blanco, in my opinion, is that Blanco goes great in margaritas. It goes great in cocktails because it just gives you that blank canvas and those flavors to do whatever you want. Your preferences, really, that's what a margarita can be. Now, in the Hudson Valley and probably in a lot of places that you guys are all at, pretty much covered in snow, whether it's inches, whether it's feet, but that should not steer you away from margaritas, because again, margaritas can be as innovative and as creative as the juice itself. This is a winter margarita. I've had them. I had one in the fall, apple cider margarita. I also had one that I love throughout any time of the year. It's like a pineapple jalapeno. So again, a nice twist on the tart and the heat. So we'll get started here. So I have a shaker with some ice. I already have a juice of lime, one lime here. So we'll add a little bit more. I like fresh limes. I feel like they do make a big difference. We're gonna add some orange liqueur. This one is Clement, Creole Shrub, but Grand Marnier and Cointreau are fine to use. Then I'm adding a quarter cup of the tequila VOLCAN Blanco. And then for some winter fruit essence, I have some pomegranate cranberry. So half a cup. You can put it to your preference. I'm putting half a cup in there. And then for a little heat, I got some grated ginger. Just like the jalapeno, the ginger creates some spice, which I personally like. So we're gonna just throw that in. And then for the rim, what I did here was I combined some lime zest, some fresh lime zest, you can get microblade, with some kosher salt. And tequila are always great with a little salt on the rim if that's what you like. You got to wet this part with lime, of course, for it to stick, but that's also something that makes the drink a lot better if you can handle salt. Some people. So always make sure your shaker is on. I've done that where it also. I'm going to shake that up 15 seconds or so. VOLCAN Blanco also goes great with grapefruit because the juice itself has a grapefruit essence. So it's called Paloma originally, but they call it a Paloma if you're using VOLCAN tequila, which I find pretty cool. And again, don't be afraid of margaritas. You don't have to put in mayo for it to be seasoned for a margarita. Again, VOLCAN Blanco is perfect for it. And one more thing, you don't want to overwhelm your drinks. The ingredients should be a complement to the alcohol. It shouldn't mask or have too much to hide the alcohol. So I always find that mixes are fine if you like it, but the simpler the ingredients, the better. Fresh limes, a little citrus, a little juice, a little liqueur, some salt, and basically there you have it. So again, I think this is great because you get that tart, you get that fruit, And then you also get the natural flavors coming through from the Blanco. Again, the vegetal flavors, the lemongrass, I get some pepper on the back end, and it really just makes a margarita perfect when you're using the Vulcan. So, cheers to everyone. And I'm gonna hand the floor over to Brian, who's gonna walk us through the Cristalino.
Thank you. And you know what? That margarita has a great color to it. I think that's always great to mix it up a little bit from that normal, just the lime colored, and it's looks great. That's a really great looking cocktail. So I'm gonna start talking about VOLCAN Añejo Cristalino. So you've probably heard of Añejo. It is the older style of tequila, but Cristalino is a specialized process that takes the color out of the tequila, and it lets the flavor and complexity show without a dark color to the spirit. So this is an older añejo. So there are 5 types of tequila. So there is Blanco, which Melissa just walked us through. There is Joven, which is aged for a couple weeks. And then there is Reposado, which is aged 60 days to 364 days. And then as soon as that crosses over to a year, it can be classified as añejo. Then the last one, the 5th, is the extra añejo, and that is anything above 3 years. So the Añejo Cristalino is actually a blend of añejo and extra añejo tequila, and then it is filtered, so it takes out some of the color. And the reason for that is we want a little more complexity than a Blanco, but we don't want the dark color of a traditional añejo or a traditional reposado. When you're making a light colored drink or a clear drink in what we're just about to make, you don't want a dark spirit in there because it would muddy those clear colors. You know, a lot of people say that you eat with your eyes first. Presentation is very big in cocktails, and I'll say, we'll give you a couple tricks of how or why maybe when you go to a restaurant or a bar, their drinks are so much better than the ones that you have at home. I would say the first one is presentation. You know, use a nice glass. So we're gonna make one of my favorite drinks with the VOLCAN Cristalino, and that is a ranch water. It is so simple, very easy to make, and I like using the Cristalino because it adds a little bit extra to the drink. So you want to have a lot of ice. That's the second trick. Restaurants, bars, always use a lot of ice. Then the second ingredient we're going to have is Topo Chico. This is a Mexican mineral water. You can use any other mineral water that you want, but traditionally Topo Chico is the one, and I don't know why, it just tastes better with Topo Chico. So that and lime juice. It is super simple. So I take half of the lime, and you can squeeze it in yourself, or if you have one of these lime squeezers, you can do that as well. So I use half a lime per drink. Do it to your taste. I find half a lime for myself is the perfect amount. I add the lime in on top, so we get some of those juices, some of the oils that are in the skin. Then we go with our Cristalino VOLCAN, and I do 3 ounces. So that is 2 regular shots there. And then you top it off with your Topo Chico. And you can garnish with a lime wheel. And I tell you, those bubbly drinks, the Aperol spritzes, that used to be the ones that you go to. I'm telling you, ranch water is the way to go. It's light, it's citrusy, it is effervescent. You bring these to a party, you got to make sure to bring a case of Topo Chico because everybo's going to want to try it. Everybody's going to want to drink one of them. They are really brilliant, brilliant drinks. So cheers. I'm going to take a sip because they are that good.
That looks amazing, Brian. Does the mineral water is carbonated?
So yeah, it's a carbonated. It's not like a tonic water where it's got a flavor to it.
Okay.
It's just an effervescent mineral water, and it just helps lively up the drink. So I absolutely love these. They are my go-to. I mean, I used to be a gin and tonic person. I used to be, you know, I like Aperol spritzes. The ranch water, that is my go-to. Absolutely phenomenal. So as we were talking about the 5 different types of tequila, the different ages, the next one that we have is Reposado. So the Reposado, VOLCAN Reposado, as you can see, is a little bit darker than the Cristalino that we just went through. It is younger, but the reason that it's lighter is it doesn't go through the filtration process. So the way this starts out is they grow the agave from those volcanic rich clay soils that they have in the Jalisco area. Those, as Melissa was talking about, the agave plant kind of looks like a giant pineapple. It's got these big spines out of it. And the farmers who harvest them, they harvest them with these large blades. They're called coas. And the coas shave the leaves off. They harvest the piña, which is the center of the agave. They split it in half and they add it to a large oven that could be locked, much like your conventional pressure cookers that you have today. And that's called an autoclave. And that helps speed up the process of cooking the piñas and developing the sweet sugars that are in the agave plant. So after it's cooked for 9 hours, they bring it out and they use that to mill the piña, and that is pressing all those sweet juices out. They add those to a fermentation tank. They add yeast, and that ferments for 3 days into a light alcoholic substance, much like a beer. And after that, they take and they distill that beer for 2 days, and that distillation process gets you Blanco. So it's a clear spirit, and that's how almost all spirits come out. It's clear, and they get their color from 2 different things. One would either be coloring in a less expensive tequila, but in a premium tequila like VOLCAN, they get their color from the oak barrels in which they're aged. So after the spirit is distilled clear, it is added to 50% of the liquid is added to American oak. The other 50% is added to European oak. Now, the reason the difference between the two, American oak has wider grain in it, so it ages the spirit quicker, adds a lot of vanilla flavor, a lot of oak flavor to that. So the unlimited, so it has a great flavor to it. Then the European oak is a little more elegant. It takes more time. It has a tighter grain. So the grain that it has, the two add different elements. So you have this elegant spirit, and then 50% of this very vanilla oak aged spirit. They add those together. They stabilize them. Cold stabilization is what they call it. And then they bottle, and it's ready to drink. So that's how we have it here. And we can walk through. I think Melissa is going to walk us through the tasting notes. I'm going to join you with a short glass of my own and take it away.
Yeah. So as we see here, the color, which you can see from the bottle itself, I pointed that out in the beginning of the call, how rich and beautiful and golden it is. It's like a honey. So that's, imparted by the barrels itself. It's new. I think the French oak is new, or the American oak is new. So that's why you're getting such dark color on this. It's all natural. VOLCAN's actually certified additive free. And there's an app called Tequila Matchmaker that certifies tequilas, that certified tequilas are on. There's no additives. There's no nothing in here that's added. So it's really natural, which is another thing that I admire about VOLCAN. So again, you'll get on the nose, you'll get some sweetness on that. Again, I'm sensing more Highland agave, softer, more delicate aromas, even some cinnamon on there. Again, there, you know, it's people that are a little apprehensive of tequila, but they like whiskeys or they like, you know, bourbon whiskeys or whatever. A lot of people do well with the aged tequila because it gives that diversity. You know, you can make old fashions, you can make such different drinks with this. And, you know, it has that age on it, so it's softer. It's not, doesn't have that bite as some people describe, like the Blanco would. So again, very diverse and very innovative, the things you can do with this. And again, when you sit, I like it neat. So with an ice cube in it, just having it by itself is more than enough for me. You know, pour yourself a little bit. The ice just kind of cools it down a little bit, maybe mellows it out, opens up the alcohol too, because when you add water to a scotch or any alcohol, it opens up the flavors. I did read that the oak that this is aged in are actually cognac and scotch barrels. So, you know, it just makes it a very innovative product. And I know Brian likes these old fashioned.
Yeah, I would love to walk through an old fashioned. I think we have some extra time here, so
Yeah, let's do it.
I love that. So again, I take a mixing glass, lots of ice, and it's very simple. You make it just like a regular old fashioned. So then you want to take a old fashioned glass, and I put a large cube in that. Then with your mixing glass, I take a vegetable peeler and an orange, and we'll do one strip of orange, which I put right into the mixing glass. Then you take a couple dashes of Angostura bitters, and then 3 ounces of VOLCAN Reposado. So that's 2 normal measures. And this is, as Melissa had said, it's a very versatile drink. It's one of those drinks that, so bourbon's very popular right now. And I think that other aged spirits add a lot of depth and complexity to cocktails outside of your typical single note bourbon that is just, hey, it's just going to be a lot of vanilla on top of vanilla. So then I take my glass with a large ice cube in it. You strain over top of that. And for a little added flavor and garnish, I go with another peel. And then this peel, what I do is I just scent the rim a little bit. So you take the orange oils that are on top of that peel, and they're the ones that are going to taste they're the characteristic orange flavors. You drop that in your drink, and it's just as simple as that. So when you put your nose up to it, you get a lot of that orange flavor along with the dark fruit, vanilla, chocolate notes of the Reposado. It really makes it for a fantastic drink. So neat, or in an old fashioned, I think it's the perfect mixing or drinking straight spirit that we have. So cheers.
Cheers. That looks excellent. I'm definitely gonna have to try that. I've actually
Yeah.
really never done the rim with the orange, but I can see how that.
It really just adds a lot of nose to it. You know, the orange that's in the glass helps add that orange flavor to the spirit, but then it's like the top note that you smell as you're drinking it is that.
Sure. And that's how we taste through our nose, so it makes much sense.
Yeah. So excellent. I know we had some people on, some people off. I want to thank everybody for their time. All of these spirits can be found at Big Daddy's. They're the ones who are kind enough to promote and host this spirits tasting. So we ask everybody to head down to Big Daddy's. They currently carry all three marks. They carry them today, tomorrow, over the weekend, and it's the perfect time to start out your weekend with a tequila cocktail. It'll help melt the snow in your driveway, or at least in your mind.
At least, yeah, warm up your body.
Yes, yes.
That's all we can do at this time, then that works.
So we'll open it up to, if there are any questions, in the bottom in the chat feature. If there are any questions, we'll open them up shortly. And if not, we'll close it. We'll let you start your night. We're just about at 40 minutes. So thank you very much for coming along. Oh, thank you. Thank you, Catherine. Said you guys did great, and thank you. Well, we appreciate that. So, all right. Well, if there aren't any other questions, thank you very much for your time. And hopefully you can join us again for another tasting at Big Daddy's, virtually and safely, via Zoom. So thank you.
Yes, thank you to Big Daddy's.
Yes, thank you. All right.